Hello everyone. My name is Harsh and I am a company secretary by profession. Today I'm going to share my views regarding anxiety and anxiety related procrastination. We are in a very difficult times because earlier we used to go outside a lot and staying in feels a bit loss of independence. So there are certain things going around us which we can potentially feel anxious about. uh, they can be students who are anxious about their futures, that they have just passed their exams but may also be worried about how things will go in future. If you talk about an employee, he may be worried about his next paychecks because of certain situations going on right now. And even if we don't take this particular scenario in consideration, there are still a lot many situations we may find ourselves to be stressed and anxious in. So, to begin with, we need to understand what is anxiety and what is anxiety related procrastination. All right. So, the topic is overcoming anxiety and anxiety related procrastination. So, we need to understand that what is anxiety. So, according to American Psychology Association, anxiety is an emotion characterized by feelings of tension and worried thoughts. Sometimes deadlines and dealing with difficult people at the workplace are the biggest cause of concern of stress. You may sometimes face some conflicts in the workplace between you or your co-workers or maybe your partners or anyone, but lack of effective communication at workplace can cause quite a bit anxiety. So what happens then? Anxiety can affect your performance at work. The people begin to miss more work. Their quality of work begins to go down. Sometimes the relationships with the colleagues as well as supervisors or maybe seniors are ruined, that they even stop talking to one another. So you have to be mindfully noticing the way you cope things when you go wrong, because the way you cope things and handle things have a direct impact on how much anxiety you're experiencing. So you just have to tweak the way you're coping these issues, and you can lower your anxiety. So before I dive in that what are the techniques to cope anxiety, I would like to tell you that interestingly, we can develop these techniques in ourselves through the things that we do in our normal routine, in our normal life. So I have curated some of the techniques to cope anxiety. The first thing is building a personal wellness plan. Now, this plan may include getting adequate sleep. Adequate sleep or taking adequate sleep is a very good habit, and it can give very good mental health. The second thing is eating healthy. I would not say much about this because we all want to eat healthy. Yeah, we all want to eat healthy, but at least we can try to push ourselves and start eating what's good for our mind. And then the third thing is exercising. Exercising increases the self-confidence. It relieves mental stress, which in turn gives you better mental health. So try to follow a routine of regular exercising, or it can be of anything like yoga or cycling. If you are not able to go out, you may do some yoga or maybe some exercising at home. So that can be helpful for your mind. So the second technique to cope anxiety is engage in experiences that give you greater control. No, now you should feel that you are in control of your life. Research shows that people who feel that they are in control of their lives have a good mental health than those who do not. So you have a greater control in life when you are in control of your emotions, your feelings, or you're not letting things affect you or your inner peace. So engaging in experiences that give you greater control can be making your own decisions, right? Making your own decisions, like you want to start a new venture, you can do that. You can make a plan and just get onto it. That gives you greater control of your life. Even self-improvement techniques like learning about a new skill that may help you to build up or develop professionally is also important, because it can be changing your lifestyle, or maybe the new skill will help you to develop better. And the next thing is that uh, relying less on others. It is really okay to rely on others because we cannot do all the things on our own. But sometimes, if you're not able to solve your problems without relying on others, you can be in real trouble. So, this is why I would correlate the second point, self improvement, with the third one. Because if you have the self improvement technique, or maybe that ability to self improve yourself every time, you would feel self-sufficient, and you would be feeling that you're not relying on others, and you feel more liberated and less pressured. So the third technique to cope anxiety is be kind to yourselves. So now in anxiety, maybe people think more about their mistakes than the good deeds they have done. So people can make mistakes, and it is really okay to make mistakes, but try to forgive yourself for any mistake that you have done a few months ago, or maybe in any past. This gives you greater compassion towards life. So be gentle to yourself and don't punish and criticize yourself. I would just give you a quick example on this technique. That, for example, if you have a friend who keeps on criticizing you, or maybe pointing out everything that you're doing wrong, or everything that is wrong within your life, what you want to do, you would like to get rid of that person as soon as possible in your life, even if that is your friend. So people who are in anxiety do this a lot with themselves. They keep on criticizing themselves. So long story short, do not criticize yourself. So further, these were the techniques to cope anxiety. Now we can discuss about anxiety related procrastination. I would start with that anxiety and procrastination go hand in hand. When we feel anxious about something, we'll put it off. We'll just delay that task for a later time because we feel anxious that task. People who are anxious with their goals often engage themselves in unproductive behaviors like social media or maybe something like that, but they do not get down to business just to avoid that task which they are anxious about. So procrastination reflects a person's self struggle with the self-control. So here are the three kinds of anxiety-related procrastinations which I would be discussing one by one in the later slides. The first one is procrastination due to predicting a negative outcome. Often people drag themselves out from a particular task. It is because they are predicting a negative outcome. They are expecting to struggle with the task sometimes, that even before they are starting, they are expecting that it would not go smoothly. Or maybe they expect that someone, if they raise an issue with, would react badly on that. So you just have to be noticing that you are making a negative prediction. So here I have mentioned a note for you that you will win half the battle if you are able to notice that you're making a negative prediction. So if you're not able to notice that you're making a negative prediction, you are in trouble. So please notice yourself what you are doing to cope things related to anxiety. So I have a simple three question technique for this anxiety related procrastination. It's just a three simple question technique. Just ask yourself that what is the worst that could happen, what is the best that could happen, and what is the most realistic that could happen. So I have a quick situation for you all. Suppose an employee has a performance review at work. So he may be worried about that. He may be anxious that what would go on. So here's the thing, that he can ask himself that what's the worst that could happen, what's the best that could happen, and what's the most realistic that could happen. Worst that could happen is that his boss is really not happy about his performance. He's thinking about that. It's not correct. His boss is not happy about his performance. So it may land him in trouble later. So this is the worst that could happen. Or the best that could happen is his boss is really happy with his performance, or he is expecting to get promoted in the later part of the appraisals. Or the third thing is that what's the most realistic to happen? The most realistic to happen is that in a performance review, an employee gets feedbacks and he can work on those feedbacks. So maybe that employee will get some feedbacks from the employer, and on those feedbacks he can work, and then he can move ahead for his target. So these are the three simple questions that he can ask while facing these type of anxieties. Even if we are professionals, if we are dealing with a client and we are just hoping that the deal will close out, we can, if we are anxious, we can just ask ourselves that what's the worst that could happen, what's the best that could happen, or what's the most realistic to happen. So I hope this technique is helpful and clear to all. The second anxiety related procrastination is that procrastination due to intolerance of uncertainty, avoiding situation and tasks that involve feeling unsure. Sometimes people drag themselves out because they are not sure about a situation. So they avoid those situations and they do not get indulged into that. So in this situation, sometimes they overcomplicate the issue that where to start. They do not know that where to start, and they miss out the simple logical step of getting started. They are just indulged with complicating the issue, and maybe they are being caught up in the details, in thinking the details without thinking about the big story, the big picture. Or maybe they are not delegating things to others. They may not be 100% sure that someone else would be able to do their job better. They just believe in themselves. So this is an anxiety related procrastination due to intolerance of uncertainty that people face every time. And the third anxiety related procrastination is procrastination due to all or nothing thinking. So I would just give you a quick example for this. Suppose if a person sets a goal to read 2 or 3 books in a week, and if he fails to read those 2 or 3 books in a week, he just leave that target at all. He don't read any book in a month. So all or nothing thinking can be really dangerous for you. It would not actually help much, because people who are trying to learn new things would get stuck in the middle because of this kind of thinking. So I would suggest that give yourself a smaller or a moderate goal, so that you can hone those skills which you just want to develop, or those important habits that you think you should possess. So I would conclude this with the key takeaways for this session. The first thing is that maintain wellness, focus on your wellness, your health, because it is the very important part of our lives. Have greater control in your life. Greater control would help you indulge in those activities which are giving you greater control in life, so that you can be feeling confident and self-improve yourself, because if you're self-improving, you are actually trying to learn new skills that will help you develop in your professional sphere. Do not predict a negative outcome, or do not overthink. And finally, getting started is important, not with perfection, because nobody is perfect and you don't need to be perfect to start doing anything. Because perfectionism can also lead to procrastination, because by waiting for everything to be in order, you are actually putting off or delaying your progress. So it is important to get started even if you don't know much about that topic. So I would conclude this with a quote from a famous writer, Dr. G.K. Chesterton, that if a thing is worth doing, it is worth doing wrong or badly the first time, because the next time it would be an improved version of you doing the same thing in a better way. So I would like to conclude this with, if you would like to know more about this topic, you can just simply post your comments on the video that we'll be posting. So thank you very much to the audience.